Hey everybody, what is up? It's Dr. Vibe here. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. I am the host of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. I'm also a certified empowerment coach. And this is different for Dr. Vibe. Done a lot of blabs, but I haven't hosted one on a Saturday night. So I like to be different, and I like to sometimes jump off a cliff and grow my wings on the way down. So tonight, I'm going to call this a sharing session, a Dr. Vibe sharing session. And a few weeks ago, as we all know, the artist known as Prince passed away. And at 57 years old, definitely before his time, he left us. And it was so unfortunate. And it made me think that, you know what, I've always wanted to do some sharing sessions on Blab about just educating, empowering, enlightening, and some entertainment too for the Blab audience. So tonight I'm going to share with you a thought process I have called learn these important life lessons before it's too late. So you don't want to not achieve some things before time comes up. So let's look at it this way. Think about if we had a chance to do life all over again. There'd be a different career, different energies going on, and also other choices, other people you may want to hang with. But right now, this is the only life you have, and I'm pretty sure it's the only life you're going to have. And there's some lessons that I want to share with you that will empower you if you take action on them. Now, I'm going to lock the seat for probably about half an hour because I want to get through these points, but you can join by typing comments on the side. And after I finish getting through all the points, I'll open up the seats for questions, conversation, etc. So let's start with number one. And most people know this, but it's always important to say you can't please everybody. Even if you're the nicest, the best looking, the most energetic, the most positive person out there, you're not going to be able to impress everybody. You can't please everybody. It's a lesson I had to learn when I had hair that I always tried to please, give people. But some people, unfortunately, are just not ready to receive the gifts that you want to share with them. And I just encourage people, do what you can to please others, but make sure you're keeping yourself happy. And it's not being selfish. I had to learn this. I had to know that dividing line of being selfish and helping people, because one of the things I've learned over my journey is that the better that you can take care of yourself, the better you can help others. And it was a tough lesson for me to learn. Learned it a lot of times the hard way, but I'm glad I learned that lesson. And I'm sure that we've all been through times where we've needed to learn that lesson about you can't please everybody. Pardon me. And some people are just not ready to be pleased. They're just not there yet. Simple as that. So that's number one. And I'd like to thank Leon and also Revel for being on. And Revel, thank you so much for typing those points out. I really appreciate it and don't take it for granted. Next one up. Believe it or not, most people don't care. Your friends and family are going to care to a point, but you know what? They've got their own lives to take care of. So they're only going to care for you so much. They're only going to care about so much. Most times they're just cared about their own success and failures. So you have to realize that, you know what? It's all up to you a lot of the time. Yes, yeah, you can work with people and teams, but there's going to be times where it's just all up to you and people aren't going to care because they've got their own lives to take care of. And you have to realize that nobody's watching. So don't feel bad about making mistakes and don't feel bad about being silly, because you know what? Most of those people, they don't care. They got to take care of their own selves. They got their own stuff to do. Another good one that number 3, the older you become, the more important your health will be to you. And a lot of people, yeah, that's a common sense one. But I know a lot of men that as they're getting older, they're not taking care of their health. And many of you know from a lot of the conversations I host on Blab and at my podcasts, it's a big concern of mine on how especially men are taking care of themselves, or the lack of them taking care of themselves. And great examples, ask men out there, when was the last time you were at a doctor? I know a large majority of men that have not been to a doctor in the last year. Now, I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I go to my doctor every 3 months. And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, I love my doctor. He's great. Why do I like him? A, he's a good guy. Second of all, if he sees anything that is concerning, he addresses it. Second of all, he's the same doctor as my father. And yes, my father's still alive, and he's had some challenges health-wise in his life: prostate cancer, thyroid, high blood pressure. And a lot of those things are hereditary that I don't want to get. So I want to make sure that if there's signs of these things coming up in me, my doctor is looking out for them. A lot of people, hello, T-Way, thank you so much for joining in. You're in and out, no problem. But a lot of people only concerned about health when it's failing. I want to encourage people to be proactive about your health. And I know women are on average probably a little more proactive about their health than men, but I also want everybody who's watching this live or on recording to realize that the older you get, the body ain't like it used to. Like, I periodically now have having some challenges that I didn't have a few years ago, and I'm addressing them in their real time. When you get a few aches and pains when you're older, address them, especially if they don't go away. If you got that pain in your knee for 2 or 3 weeks, if you got that pain in your back for 2 or 3 weeks, if you got that pain in your foot for 2 or 3 weeks, please look after yourself. Look after yourself. Actually, I think that's nothing against young people. They can certainly maybe slack a little bit, but I would certainly encourage, once you hit the age of 30 especially, definitely, especially if you're a man, please look after your health. I want you to get a head start and begin taking care of yourself today. Number 4, there are only so many tomorrows. There are only so many tomorrows, and you got to realize that we put things a lot off. And for many of us, procrastination is our greatest challenge. I remember Mark Cuban. For those who know who Mark Cuban is, if you don't know who he is, he's the billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks of the National Basketball Association. Also, he is a shark on the show Shark Tank. He said a quote the other day that I've never forgotten. He said, "Procrastination is the greatest enemy of progress." The greatest enemy of progress is procrastination. So time is passing by, folks. You know, time, how can I put it this way? One of the regulars on my platform said something a number of years ago that I've never forgotten. He said, "Time never lost a fight." Time never lost a fight. You can never relive that moment again. Hey, LaDonna, how are you? Welcome. I'm just doing a little sharing. Well, people are coming on and off, so I guess I'm too serious. Maybe, I don't know, but you know what? I'm going to get this done because I know it's of value. You don't know how many tomorrows you're going to enjoy, especially as you go further along in your journey. When I was younger, in my 30s, one of my closest friends suffered a heart attack at 33 years old. And I'll never forget when I first saw him in the hospital, it just shook me, saying that, you know what? You're not eternal. You're not eternal at all. I want to encourage everybody here to get busy making the most of every day. Every day. You know, in a calendar, most of the calendars you have, or some of the calendars, they have a box for each day. My call to action is, what are you filling each one of those boxes with? What are you filling each box with? For me, I'm being blessed to do more sharing engagements. People call them speaking engagements, but sharing engagements. I know that everyone I do will never be the same. There are no two that are the same. Number 5, and this won't be a long blab. Maybe the after blab will be long, but number 5, apologize quickly. And this is easier said than done. Sometimes I'm not good at this. I've got to be admit. Sometimes I like to stand my ground, but life is way too short for petty disagreements and grudges. Be the bigger person and apologize. Actually, one of the things I say to people is the person who apologizes first is the bigger person. They are the bigger person. As long as it's sincerely meant and honestly meant, apologize quickly. Really, because I've been in situations where I've apologized quickly and the other party is still wrapped up in what went wrong. They're still wrapped up in the actual event, and that's in their time, but I like to get over it and at least move myself forward. And another thing too is that the person, I have a philosophy, and I'm not perfect. I'm saying that right now. I'm not perfect. That always keep yourself a level above the situation that you're in. Whether it's in conversation, for most events, if you're going to professional events, if you can find out what the attire is, always dress a notch up. You can't go wrong being a level above the situation that you're in. You cannot go wrong in most cases. So always keep yourself above the level of the situation you're in. Here's another challenging one. You can change. I know the hardest thing for most people, or they say the hardest thing in life is to change. But you can change. Do you realize where the mind goes, the person follows? Where the mind goes, the person follows. So if you want to change and you're hungry, you can do it. A lot of people will not change until it hurts. Unfortunately, a lot of times people won't change till it hurts. And if you're not changing, I remember speaking to John Maxwell a number of years ago, and he said this to me. He said, Dr. Vibe, a lot of times if you don't change, you're going to be changed. So keep up with the flow as best as you can, because sometimes you'll get left behind. You're only limiting your own self in your mind if you're not willing to change. I believe that most people can change anything they want if they really focus and get the distractions out of the way. And I know it's easier said than done, and it can be very challenging at times. But you know what? I believe that people can, if they focus and have a goal and have a purpose and are passionate. Because if you know your why, the rest is easy. As long as you have that why in your change module, you'll be fine. Here's another one. Television will steal your life. And when I wrote this out, I should have said television and social media can steal your life. You've got to keep balance. Television and social media can steal your life. You'll be so preoccupied either watching stuff online or through your tablet or through your laptop or through your smartphone. Sometimes you should just put it down. And I know a few people that one day a week, they don't go near their computer or they don't go near their television. And I know for the last few years, I've met a number of people who have just basically cut off cable and are not watching TV. But I think some of them are watching TV online as a money-saving measure. But you know, it's a lot. Some of the television and online stuff is a big sucking black hole. If the best thing you can do, especially with your time, is watch television, I think you may want to think about changing some of your priorities in life. Now, in regards to social media, can be different because a lot of people or entrepreneurs work a lot of time on social media, but you need to sometimes get up and walk away. Just take a break, get away, go out, call some people, or go out and have an ice cream or something with somebody, deal with some real people. It's a highly effective way of not only moving your own self further ahead, but also helping and empowering others. This television and online stuff can be a distraction. It can be a huge distraction. So next up, number 8, you'll regret the things you didn't do more of than the things that you did. Now, it's so important that you make sure you know this, that you'll regret the things you didn't do more of than the things you did. If you want me to repeat that, Revel, I can say it again for you. You got it. Thank you so much. Because one of the things I don't want people to live is a woulda, coulda, shoulda life. Within reason. Now, I don't want some of the things you wanted to do to be negative. But when you look back at your foolish choices that you've made in your life, you'll just laugh. Like, I did stuff when I was a young guy that I just laugh at now. They're hilarious. But if you look back at the things you didn't do that you know you were supposed to do, those will impact you. Those will impact you. You know, some of the things, there are some things I wish I would have done many years ago that I didn't do. Now, hey, I'm not living a life of regrets, but I said, you know what? I should have done that then. And some of them I'm bringing back from the carpet. And I have this analogy that there's a number of things that we have, and I'll think about this visually, that we have swept under the carpet. And I think there are 1 or 2 things that are underneath your carpet that you need to pull out and look at again and maybe action upon again. You only have one life to live. So you need to take your best shot. You're only going to go around once, I believe. So make it the best shot, not only for yourself, but to impact others, whether it's family, friends, maybe someone in the world who doesn't even know you may be impacting. You know, Blab is a great resource here where some people never thought about sharing their story or sharing their gifts online. And now they are sharing their gifts online, and it's one less regret they have to deal with. So, number 8, you'll regret the things you didn't do more than the things that you did. Number 9, money is great for solving certain challenges, but it's not the cure for everything. Now, for some people, that's easier said than done. Some people say that money solves nothing. Love is all that matters. But unfortunately, love don't pay the bills. Love don't pay your mortgage. Love don't pay feeding the family or repairing a flat tire. It is a necessary part of life, but it doesn't solve everything. It certainly will resolve a lot of things, but it doesn't solve everything. Very important that you know that money is great for solving certain challenges, but it's not the cure for everything. I remember there's a gentleman named Rick Warren. For some people may know him. He wrote a very popular book called The Purpose-Driven Life. And I watched something of him recently, and he said he wants to live a life. Actually, let me go back. The car he drives is 13 years old, and Rick Warren has made a substantial amount of money. A huge amount of money. The book, The Purpose-Driven Life, fantastic. But he said during this conversation that his goal in life is to give away 90% of what he makes and only live on the 10% of what he makes. I thought that was absolutely powerful. Wouldn't you like to be in a position where 90% of what you make, you can give away? For me, there's a huge difference between a rich person and a wealthy person. A rich person makes a lot, but a wealthy person makes a lot and gives it away. Huge difference. Huge. And I also say too, money funds the mission. It's not the mission. Thank you, Revel, for putting up the link for Purpose Driven Life. Really appreciate it. Number 10, as I say, this will be quick, somewhat quick. And what we're going to say is number 10 is this: your level of success will matter less at the end of your life. And it's very true. Up until middle age, we put too much emphasis on our careers. It's only later in life that we realize that there were other things more important and worthy of our time. And I'll put my hand up to that. I was very much wanting to achieve certain status in career, etc. And when it wasn't happening, I had to sort of rethink and retool my thought process and my heart, saying that it's more important for me to touch lives in a positive way than to make money. Because, as I said, money funds the mission. It's not the mission. And yes, you can make a lot of money, but I'd rather everyone who's watching this live or on replay have a positive impact on lives. And I'm going to give you a great example of this. Last year, some very close friends to my father, who this couple has known, they've known each other at least 40 years. 40, actually more than 40 years, 45, 50 years. They have two sons, and the older son, unfortunately, passed away, had cancer in his nose, unfortunately. And what happened is we went to the church service, and he was very involved in his church, very involved in the men's ministry in his church, to the point where he went over with the men's ministry and built homes in Africa, which was huge. What really touched me was during the service, all the members of the men's ministry, about 40 of them, sang a song honoring him. That was huge. I've never seen that in a funeral in my life. Never seen that in a funeral in my life. I said, wow, 40 people singing at your funeral who you impacted in a positive way, on top of the people in the audience. That was huge. Hello, Angel in Training. Hope everything's okay. I'm just finishing off the last point in regards to this sharing called Learn These Important Lessons in Life Before It's Too Late. So I'm going to go over them again for everybody. So number 1 was, it's impossible to please everyone. Remember that. You're not going to be all that to everybody. Now, it's important that you try and help others, but you also got to make sure that you're feeding yourself. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because as I said and shared earlier, if you're not taking care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of others. Number 2, no one else cares. And this is a hard one for people, but you know what? Your friends and family are only going to care to a point. They've got to take care of their own lives. Believe it or not, they've got lives to live also. So that you really have to realize that a lot of people are just preoccupied with what's going on in their life. You may want to have them always around you and think they're always going to be there, but sorry, it's unfortunately not that way. And as I shared, remember, it's okay to make a mistake and be silly. Because you know what? Like I said, a lot of people have to preoccupy their own lives. Excuse me. Number 3, the older you become, the more important your health will be to you. Really key. And especially, I know in the United States, healthcare is always a debated issue, and the availability. And also here in Canada, though I would say from what I know, the healthcare system may be a little bit better than in the United States and maybe in other countries. It's not what it used to be. Too many of us are paying attention to our health only when it's failing. Let's be proactive with our health. When you get those aches and pains, go to the doctor. Don't think, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing. If it's going on for a little while, address it, please. Because you know what? Sorry to be the bearer of unfortunate news. As we go along on our journey, our body is going to begin to fail us. So do preventative medicine, which means preventative, making sure that you take care of yourself. And if there are any things that are not going right, have the doctor look at them. So that's my call to action on that one. Take care of your health starting today. Number 4, there's so many tomorrows. We love to procrastinate. We love not important. But the concerning thing is we only have a limited time on this earth. So if there's something important that you need to take care of, you do it. You absolutely do it. And I've seen people leave our great earth at different ages. So I really say that time, as I said, time never lost a fight. Number 5, apologize quickly. Do we all do that? Sometimes I'm not good at that. I'll totally admit, but apologizing quickly and truthfully and honestly that you're apologizing. As I mentioned during that point, always keep yourself a level above the situation that you're in. 6, you can change. You can change. You can change. Where the mind goes, the person follows. You can change. You can change. And a lot of times, if you don't change, you will be changed. So make sure, realize that the only thing that's limiting you to start to change is your thought process. I'm going to say something that may ruffle people in the wrong way, but I'm going to say it. If your life's a mess, a lot of times it's because your mind is a mess and you haven't taken the time to change. Number 7, television and social media will steal your life if you let it. And interesting, I shared at the beginning of this, my inspiration to do this was Prince, how he left the earth at 57 years old. I was a Prince fan, and I watched a number of interviews with him, and I remember one of the things he said a number of years ago, saying that don't let the media control you, you control the media. So don't let television and social media define who you are. It's a tool. Make sure you have a life. Make sure you deal with people, not just online. Don't stay cooped up in front of the computer all the time, or in front of your tablet, or in front of your smartphone, or in front of your laptop. Balance it out, because it can be a huge distraction. Number 8, recap. You'll regret the things you didn't do more than the things that you did. So there's a lot of things we did foolish when we were younger. Don't worry about them. But there's important things that all of us have swept under the rug that we need to bring back from the rug. I'm challenging this one, calling to action. Is there one thing that you swept underneath your rug that you should take out and look actioning upon? Hello, Durham Skywriter. Hope all is fine. Just finishing off my blab about learn these important life lessons before it's too late. Number 9, money is great for solving certain challenges, but it's not the cure for everything. That one, money funds the mission, but it's not the mission. Money funds the mission. It's not the mission. It'll certainly take care of certain things in your life, but there are a lot of things that love can take care of that money can't. And relationships are always the key. I've said that for a number of years, that relationships are either going to make you or break you. And number 10, your level of success will matter less at the end of your life. And for me, I'm a testimonial on that. my level of success for me, yes, I still want to be successful financially. Not saying I don't, but I realize that the more people that I can empower, educate, and enlighten, the more successful I'll become. The more successful I come. So it's not about me. Last I checked, when we came onto this earth, it took 2 people to get us into this world. So why sometimes are we trying to do it all by ourselves? We certainly need those times where we need to do things on our own, but relationships are so key. Relationships are just so key. Hey, Dominique, how we doing? I'm just finishing off, but I'm going to entertain questions or comments as we go on here. So those are the 10. I'm thankful for the people who came in. If you want me to email you this, you can email me and I'll send it to you. And for the people that are on here, if you do email me and want me to send it out to you, I'll also send out another thing for you that I've done called Creating Abundance by Changing Your Habits. So first things first, before we get to any questions or comments, if you enjoyed what I shared, can you give me a 1? Thank you. Well, thank you, ladies. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. That is great. Thank you, Sari. Thank you, Revel. Thank you, Dominique. So if you want, ladies, if you want, does anyone want a copy of what I shared? Does anyone want a copy of it, or is it pretty self-explanatory? You don't. If you'd like a copy, I got it. Thanks. No problem. Yeah, you took down all the points. So thank you, Revel. I really appreciate your help on this. Anyone else want a list of the things that I shared? Okay, my email address, and I tried to type it in. I'm going to try again to type it in Blab. So I'm going to try and do it again, but for some reason it doesn't show up. Yeah, it doesn't show up. So here, how can I do this? Here's my email address. Let me, okay, it's D, well, maybe someone can type it in for me. If someone could help me out on this. So it's DR period VIBE at the DRVIBE show.com. See, yeah, it doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't type it out. So you know what? If you didn't get it verbally, send me a message via my Twitter handle. Oh, you got it, Siri? Thank you. Okay, great. That's great. Thank you so much. If you got it, thank you. That's great. So if I'm going to be doing these at least once a month. This was a test to do it on a Saturday night. And I see what I got reaction wise. I don't know if I should be doing it during the week because it's very crazy. Thank you, Durham Skywriter. Thank you so much. So no, that's not it, Durham. It's DR period VIBE at the DRVIBE show.com. Okay, Roanna, no problem. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No worries about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the recording, but if anyone wants to jump in or have any questions after, I'll be on for the rest up until the top of the hour. And if people want, I'm going to offer this. If anyone would like a free half-hour session, be more than happy to do that via Skype or via phone, or we can do it via video. more than welcome to do that. So that's for everyone who's jumped on to hear that I have a number of clients, but I appreciate each one of you. There you go. Thank you, Durham. So if anyone wants to take advantage of that, hey, Tachi, what is up? That's a free half-an-hour session. Yep. Thank you. No problem. You take care, Revel. Thank you again for making this conversation better. So for people who want to get in touch with me, you've got my email address. You've got my Twitter handle. Again, I will put it out there. Be well, Revel. Thank you so much. If anyone wants a half-hour session, I'm here for you. Okay? So as always, I'm just ending the recording. I'm still going to stay on. You're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles and your solution for someone's problem. Appreciate everyone who stopped by this evening, and I will be doing it again. I'm going to maybe next time try it on a weeknight. Yes, there we go. Thank you, Evan Taxi. Yes, you can go to my website, and it does it there too. So that's fabulous. Thank you, sir. So I'm going to shut off the recording, and then if people want to have some more conversation, I'm available. So God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith. More conversations next week. One of them is with Pepper Miller, who is one of the top people in the African-American space when it comes to marketing to African-Americans. And also, we're doing another men's show. I host a men's show every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I also host a ladies show every 9 o'clock Monday evenings. And also continuing our series from black male hypermasculinity to black male masculinity also this Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And there's a number of conversations in between, but I can't remember them. So I don't want to give you misinformation. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Bye-bye.
If you want to